Welcome once again to The Sage. As usual, I'm Dr. Kechi Wagu, your sage, your guide on this show. Last week, we promised you a roller coaster journey. We ask you to come and experience with us in Conversations for Change an amazing journey of 4 years. Last week, we talked about the fact that this time of the year is a period when everybody, wittingly, unwittingly, knowingly or unknowingly, begins to reflect on what has transpired the year ending and begins to think about what will happen for them professionally or personally, individually, in the new year. It is something every one of us goes through. And so we started that reflection last week. We talked about, and I'm sure we convinced you, that you can be what you want to be. That everybody can be what they want to be if they know what to do and how to go about it. We also made a strong point when we said that for us in Conversations for Change, that we found that becoming an entrepreneur was actually a wonderful and very effective mechanism for being that thing you want to be, for bringing out your creativity, your talents, and turning yourself into an entrepreneur, if that's where your calling is. We also made a strong point about the fact that it's never too late. You can do it when you're young, but you can also do it in middle age and even in old age. The important thing is to discover your creativity, your passion, and produce it into something that yields you dividend economically and improves your society and the country. And that is indeed what guided us into starting the Conversations for Change's Global Entrepreneurship Fellowship program. A program which we have run for 3 years now. A program we're incredibly proud of. A proof of concept. Yes, I say that unequivocally. It is a proof of concept. We have been able to demonstrate that if you pick and select the right caliber of young people, people truly interested in becoming entrepreneurs, people who possess the creativity and that is required, people who are determined and hardworking, that if you provide them the appropriate skills and capacity building, that you turn them into successful entrepreneurs. It is a proof of concept. Usually startups have an estimated success rate of perhaps 30-35%. We in C4C say with pride that our success rate is well over 80%. It is a proof of concept. I can't say that often enough. And therefore, we are running these next episodes in the next few weeks because of two things. One is that we want you to come partner with us. Either as a young person, perhaps, or any person who wants to become an entrepreneur. or as an organization, a community, an individual who is moved to invest in this program so that many people can indeed benefit. But we are also sharing this experience at this point in time because we are poised as an organization to begin the next fellowship program. Yes, such an exciting activity for next year. We are about to recruit our 4th batch of fellows. The process begins in January, so this is the perfect time to inform our audience that if you know anybody or if you are interested in being part of this fellowship program, this is the time to begin to prepare. This is the time to look out for the application announcement that would happen in January and to tell all the possibly interested people to be ready to apply because it is very competitive. So what is this fellowship program we're talking about? What is this our concept of effective capacity building? Let me say that because we believe in deeply that it's not a one-off thing, that it has to be sustained support. Our program is a 1-year fellowship program. It runs a calendar year of January to December. We start with an application process based on very critical selection criteria, which we, from experience, have identified and used. And then we shortlist and select. We interview. The interview is rigorous because you must have the right material to produce the right results. And then after the interview process, and you have been chosen as the batch, as part of the batch for the year, we hold what we call the first capacity building workshop, where we bring these fellows together for the first time and brainstorm and meet and bond and teach them essential business management skills. And then the fellows go off for 2 months for 2 primary assignments. One, a feasibility study that allows them to indeed, again, resurvey their business idea with which they came to us to better determine whether it's a business opportunity. But very important, we also intern them, send them as interns to organizations that are already successfully doing what they want to do. And then they come back for a second capacity building workshop where we hone in those business management skills. And then move on to buy them their equipment. We provide support largely in terms of equipment to support their business. And then we graduate them. It's been a 1-year journey. A journey, an exercise that's been so satisfying. The next few episodes will better describe these processes I have elaborated. But they're critical that you understand them. Because we have a great deal of pride in this our concept. It's a concept we want everybody to understand and pitch into. we know for certain that this is the way to improve our young people in this country. This is the way, if we can scale it up enough, to improve the economy of our country. We will say that a bit more. But stay with us when we come back and discuss more and allow you to understand the process a bit more and allow you to meet some of the exciting young people who were part of this year's fellowship as they tell you their own experience. It's been a wonderful journey for us. It will be quite an experience for you. We assure you of that. I thank you. Welcome once again to the Sage. I hope you agree that so far it's a wonderful concept. The concept of an intensive 1-year fellowship that effectively empowers the potential entrepreneur to become an effective entrepreneur, one that actually succeeds. But it isn't just talk. With us on the set today are two of our lovely entrepreneurs who are part of this program, the 2021 set, and who are just about to graduate, who have come to be with us on the set and talk a little about their own experience. Please join me in welcoming. Oh, this is exciting. We haven't had this kind of adventure on this show before. Let me first of all turn to Aisha Ahmed with her beautiful, beautiful baby who is sleeping on the stage and is ready to protest if we disturb her, but who is precious to us because she is a C4C baby. Aisha will share how this baby is, in a way, a talisman, a good mascot for us. Because for her little short life, she's been an intimate part of the fellowship. Aisha Ahmed, you're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Also with us on set is Joel Glory, or Glory Joel, whichever one, who is also a wonderful young part of the fellowship program, who will also share for her what this 1 year has been like, particularly the beginning part of it, where we look at the issues of the interview and so on, and the application process, which are the ones that will soon start next year. Mm-hmm. Welcome to you, lovely ladies.
Thank you, ma'am.
Perhaps they're my children, so perhaps I should really have said, welcome, my children.
Thank you, Molly.
So let me start with you, Aisha.
Okay, ma'am.
Like we will soon be calling for applications for 2022, we called for applications for 2021. How did you hear about the process? How did you apply? And how did you interview? Tell us about it.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, baby's sleeping. Sorry about that.
No, she's free to sleep. That way she's not making noise in the camera.
Yes, very important, very important. So, sometime last year, around January, I saw an application online in one of the business group which I belong to. It's called the Business Mind Foundation. Yeah, so one of the admin actually informed us that there was an opening that would help us move our business forward, you know. And I said to myself, wow, I think I should apply for this. But I was a bit skeptical because at that time I was 7 to 8 months pregnant with this baby.
Wow.
Yeah, so,
Wow.
you know, and I told my husband, I said, there's this application, you know, I'm new to business. I would like to, you know, apply for it so that I'll have a wide knowledge of business. And he told me, I'm free. I can go ahead. So I decided to apply. And, you know, all those sleepless nights, you know, having cramps, little setbacks and all. I'll start the application. I'll stop halfway. At some point, I was even confused with some of the words they used. I had to contact one of my friends and my husband. And I said, oh, what do people think about it? And he said, no, just be free. Just express yourself because it's actually for you. And with my big tummy, you know, always lying down, you know, sometimes I'm even restless because of the pregnancy. It took me a lot before I was able to submit my application. I mean, I actually submitted on the last day of the opening. Like, who does that? Me. Yes, it took me like over 2 weeks. I kept on, okay, what should I write? Okay, I'll fill this and I'll stop and all of that. But I was able to. And when I applied, I just said to myself, oh God, I really hope this comes true because it's something I really want to, you know, do. Then I think was it like 2 or 3 weeks? I just checked my mail and I realized I had been shortlisted for an interview. With the conversation of change. Yeah, and it's been like, I think I even saw the mail like 4 days late. And I was like, wow, what was I doing that I did not check my mail immediately? But the sweetest part of it was when I received the mail, I just had my baby.
Oh, you?
Yes, she was barely 2 weeks old. And as a Muslim, we don't go out with our babies until they're up to 40 days. But I told my husband, I was like, what would I do? This is something I really want. How would I go out with my little baby, my older child? How would I do? And my mother-in-law was around. She said, never mind, we'll go. I'll carry the baby for you. Then my house assistant will hold my other girl. And that's how we went for the interview.
You came for an interview with your whole retinue,
yes, with my full family, my 2 kids, my mother-in-law, and my house assistant. And when I entered the admin, everybody was staring at me like, who are we interviewing? And I was like, all of us, yeah. So then I went. The admin there was so nice to me. She actually interviewed me first because I had a little baby, and I went for interview. I met the panel of judges, and I was like, wow, all this setting. Like, this thing is really, really, you know, tough.
They're serious, eh?
Yes, they were so serious. And then I met you, but the reception was warm and I was at ease. They asked me a lot of questions, and I won't forget the first question they asked me was, what is actually unique about my products? And I was pinching myself like, what am I actually going to say? But I was so open and I spoke and it actually went well. And that was it. Yeah, that was it with the interview. Then after like a week or 2 weeks again, because the whole process was actually very fast. It's not like some other applications you apply for, you keep waiting, you even forget you applied for something. It was so fast. Yeah, so I was shortlisted to, I was actually picked, as a fellow for the 2021 batch of Conversation for Change. And immediately I got the message, then I think it was a week to fasting or so. I went to meet my mother-in-law. I said, Mommy, we made it. So look at the interview we went for. We're actually picked. And she said, wow, okay, oh, that's nice. Like, am I coming with you? And I was like, Mommy, you want to really go? She said, yes, no, I have to go with you. How would you go with the baby and all of that? And my husband is so supportive. He said, okay, that's fine. And then we started our first workshop.
I will stop you there.
Okay.
And keep our audience in suspense because we're still going to describe that first workshop with them.
Oh, okay.
But let me say that it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to have had you and the baby during the interview. And we were very impressed because we said to ourselves, somebody who brand new mother, it just shows your passion and your determination to do this thing, to do the business, to become an accomplished entrepreneur. And so for us, it was a positive indeed.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. You've been 1 year with us. Our fellows are always remain our fellows, and the baby's name is
La
Nehila is also a more than an added bonus. We love her very much.
Thank you.
Let me turn to Joel, to Glory, and say, Glory, what about you? What was the journey for you? The application, the interview?
Okay, thank you, Ma. From the first time, that's the application, I got the flyer from one of our alumni.
Okay.
Samson Dako, the CEO of
Okay, he was part of our second batch.
Yes.
Yes.
So he sent me the flyer and was like, I should try it. So starting up that time, I saw that as a good opportunity for me. So I tried, I clicked on the link, but from the start, it was network issue. So I was like, I must
the proverbial network issue in Nigeria.
I was like, I must do this, I must do this. So I kept trying. So one of the nights, I had to stay up at midnight to make sure I do that. So along the line, while filling the form, I got to a point where I saw upload your certificate and CV. I was like, this is serious. So that made me stop that day, and I had to continue the next day because I had to get that. So I was able to fill the form and submit. And after that, waited. And I got a mail of being shortlisted. I know that when you see such situations, there will be so many applicants. With the way the situation of the country is, people are looking for opportunities. And being shortlisted was one of a miracle for me. So I was very excited. Looking forward to the day of the interview.
You were not afraid, eh?
When I saw the date for the interview, I was already having cold feet. I was like, how am I going to do? Because the last time I checked that I faced situations like that was in school during project defense and all that. I know how it was. So I was like, this is something else. So I had to encourage myself and was like, you really need this to help you. So on the day of the interview, when I came, I saw the people around. I didn't even talk to anybody. I just greeted, because I was so nervous. I just greeted, then I sat down, wearing my face mask. Everybody, I was just cool. I was just observing everything.
Yes, it was COVID was on. Yes. So we all had to be masked and we all had to do it outside, remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So waiting for my turn to come. So when I was called, I was like, oh, Jesus. So when I got there, I was actually shaking, but I just had to be courageous because it's what I want and I would not like to mess up. So when I got there, I saw everybody, I saw the panel. When I got there, the reception was very warm. So it made me calm, it made me relax because everybody was friendly, everybody was smiling. So there was no cause for alarm. I just needed to be myself, to express myself because it was what I wanted to do. So when it was time to get interviewed, I was asked different questions, and one of the questions I was asked that really got me thinking was, if one of your customers gives you a cloth and you didn't make what the person wants, what will you do? And the person is trying to fight you or something. So that really got me thinking, but I was able to give an answer, and I'm thankful for that.
You don't want to share your answer, eh? It might be a clue for others out there who are watching to know that, that's good customer service. What did you answer, actually? I interviewed you, but it's a long time ago.
Yes, ma'am. So at first, when that question came, I was really thinking. I was like, I've not had such an experience before. So I never had that in mind that such will happen. But I said, if a time comes like that and such thing happen, I'll just be quiet because I would not like to make troubles with my customer. Because your customers are always right. So I'll probably make them have their way and not make it turn out to be something that will be dangerous to both of us.
Okay, whatever you said apparently satisfy the panel then, because you made it. Thank you so much, both of you. And thank you for having made the 2021 experience a happy one for us too in C4C. You have met our expectations. You worked hard, went through all the protocol, and we hope someday when we have an opportunity to have you fully on the show, you can also tell our viewers about your businesses and how it's progressing. Thank you for being here, because it brings it to life, and it helps us to tell the many young people or many out there who, when the application portal opens in January, we shall make sure we announce it on the Sage as well as other online platforms, that yes, it is professional, it is serious. You fill an online port application, you submit your certificates, and you will interview. But it's something that is mutually reinforcing the relationship. That as much as you are passionate about making your business work, C4C is also passionate about your success. And so at every point in time, to the best of our ability, we will be welcoming. We're happy. Thank you for saying the interview, even though it was serious, was friendly. Yeah. And so that is something we are assuring everybody who will apply. And so, can I just ask both of you briefly to tell our audience a few last words, at this stage for you, about to graduate from the program? What would you say to other young people who might find themselves in the position you were when you made your decision to apply? Let me start with you, Aisha.
Thank you, Mom. To every entrepreneur out there, both intending and the one in business, I would like to advise them that giving up in business or losing is not an option. Whenever you find yourself in a community or a family such as C4C, it's actually good to take full advantage of it, because they'll give you a full concept of business. They'll open you to lots of things you don't know about, and give you contacts to different people that will take you on classes. Yeah, so you have a lot of people that can mentor you in business and all of that. Yeah.
Great. That's wonderful, because that is what you've encapsulated, the concept of capacity building. That's what it is indeed, because those contacts, those teachings help you become a better business person. Glory, what about you? A few last words?
Okay. I would like to say to every upcoming and intending entrepreneur out there is, whatever you want to do, put your mind in it, be focused and be passionate about it. Like in my own case, when I was about to apply, I did mention that I was preparing for NYSC, and that was like giving me a double mind. But I still went ahead, because after NYSC, what next? I just had to go for it, because that's my life after. And I'm happy I proceeded, because what I got from C4C, before I came in, I was just an ordinary tailor. But when I came here, my mind was upgraded. Like, I was like, wow, so this is how it should be. I didn't have that kind of knowledge. But when I came here, my mind was built, and I'm very grateful for that. So when you see opportunities like this, grab it with everything you can, because you'll never regret it.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? I love that word, grab it and hang on to it and get the most out of it. Thank you, both of you, so much. Thank you for being part of the C4C family, proud fellows of C4C. And for me, personally, as a sage, thank you for being my children. Yeah.
Thank you, Mom.
So, yes, we've given you a glimpse, a taste of some of the fellows. You will continue to meet them as we run through the next few episodes, so that you understand why we do what we do at each stage of the fellowship program, and why each of it is important. The way Glory and Aisha has described to you the application, the interview, every stage of it is important. And next week we will continue. We will talk about the capacity building, that first contact, detailed contact with us, and have described that, what is involved, and have one or two of the fellows also talk about it. This is a journey you mustn't miss. The next few series go into detail about the fellowship program. It is a program that has worked and is working. It is a program we as Nigerians need to collectively come together to do. It needs to be replicated in every state in this country. It needs to be supported by every section of our society and communities. Let us work together to build a future for our young people, to build our economy and produce thriving small businesses. For us in Conversations for Change, we are galvanizing a movement of young entrepreneurs. See you next week as we continue the story. Thank you.